and doing work. And so we are going to talk about the steps towards World War II and play a little bit of a game as we do it. So you're going to need a sheet of paper as you do this to mark down some letters as you predict what's going to happen next during the war. All right, so first of all, we need to talk a little bit about what the causes for World War II are. Now, some of these have probably sounded familiar from other work that you've done already. So we've talked about the harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles that really put all that blame on Germany, as well as required them to pay those reparation payments. We also know that one of those effects of that was the global economic crisis. Both in Europe and the United States, we see the Great Depression, downturns, hyperinflation, etc. And so this is bad news. And so we are seeing these issues happen. And because of those issues, we're going to see that there's going to be a rise in fascism and different totalitarian regimes, like the Weimar Republic. We see the rise of Hitler. We talk about Mussolini. And so that's beginning to emerge, this really like hyper-nationalism. We talked about how nationalism was a cause of World War I. In this case, it's going to be a cause of World War II. And so we are going to see this is going to be in a different realm in that it's hyper-nationalism at this point. And then we're going to see a continuation of imperialism. So just a few of the quick causes you might want to write down in your chart or in your notes about the causes for World War II. Now, a few key terms for this video, just as a review, the League of Nations was created after the end of World War I as a peacekeeping body to prevent future wars. So we have to remember that going into this video. Also, there's a part of Czechoslovakia at this point in time called the Sudetenland. You've probably never heard of it, and it's actually quite important. Here's a quick little picture of where the Sudetenland was. And so when Germany lost lands, we see that there's a whole bunch of Germans that are living in this little area, and that is going to be coming back up. And then appeasement. And appeasement basically is when, just think of it this way, if I were to go to the store with my son Lincoln, and we are in the toy area. This has never happened, I'm sure. But we are in the toy area and he sees something with Paw Patrol. I say, we're not going to get any more Paw Patrol characters. He begins to throw a fit, like all out temper tantrum. Appeasement is where I become a bad parent and I want him to stop crying, so I buy him another Paw Patrol little character. That's appeasement. It's when I give in to demands. And so I want you to remember that. Appeasement is giving in to the toddler in the aisle when they have demands. That's going to come back up in this video. So just a few things to know as we go through. So here is the situation, some timelines, some things that are going to start happening that will lead us to World War II. So Hitler defies the Treaty of Versailles in 1935, where he starts building up his army. He starts building up his weapons. We know that these are violations because they had to have a certain number of people and below in their military, and that's not what he's going to do. He is very, again, strong nationalism and disagrees with the treaty. And so what happens is the League of Nations, remember that peacekeeping body to prevent us from another war? Well, they issue a mild disapproval. Hey, Hitler, you shouldn't be doing that. And so that's kind of getting us on this road. So that's 1935. 1936, we see that the Axis powers, a new alliance is created between three different countries. That's between Japan and Italy and Hitler and Germany. And so we have this new, alliance system that is created of all these countries, hyper-nationalistic, falling into the idea of fascism and imperialistic. We'll come back to that as well. So, to the game part that I was talking about. You're going to need to pick for this game, and you could play it again and rewatch the video if you wanted. You need to decide how your country will respond. So here are your options. You can choose in this game to be Great Britain. If you're going to be Great Britain, write that down on your sheet. Think about fish and chips, whatever you need to do. You can also pick to be France. In this case, if you want to be France, think about the Eiffel Tower. I actually don't know when that was built, but either way, think of yourself as hanging out in Paris. Or you can be the Soviet Union. We know that they are communists at this time. And again, we're going to see that they are also involved in our game. Poland, or you can be the Swiss. Didn't say much about those two, but those are two options. So pick someone that you want to play the game as, okay? And now you're going to take on the perspective of your country that you're playing this game. You're going to need to pause this, write something down, look at it, make a prediction. This will be way more fun as you are sitting at home doing this. So let's make this fun as we go on. So here is our first event where you're going to have to decide what your country does. So event number 1, Czech crisis. Right now, the problem is this, is that Hitler wants the Sudetenland, and he wants that to be a part of Germany because many Germans live there. Remember, Sudetenland was kind of taken away from Germany. Germany lost land after the end of World War I. And right now, he's saying, hey, there's a lot of German people that live in the Sudetenland. That should just be a part of our country. So we have a little bit of a image here. Now your choice is, what does your country do? Okay, so you're thinking through the lens of Great Britain, France, Soviet Union, Poland, or Switzerland. If you want to play all 5 at once, go to town. So there's our Sudetenland picture once again. And so you have the following options to pick for your country. Do you A, unconditionally support Germany's demands? So give in. B, proclaim neutrality, not support either side, Sudetenland or Hitler's side. C, do you negotiate an agreement with Hitler that allows Germany to take the Sudetenland if he promises to take no more demands, especially on Czechoslovakia? D, do you oppose Germany's demands but do not declare war on Germany? E, declare war on Germany is your other option. Okay, so those are our options as we go down here. I don't think there's an F. Pause the video and decide what you think your country would do. Again, you could play all 5 if you wanted, but that's what you're going to do right now. Pause the video, make a choice. All right, here are the answers to that question. So Great Britain, the right answer was C. They wanted to avoid war with Germany. France, also C. Did not want to go to war with Germany. Soviet Union, D. They're not really invited. They're opposed to territorial expansion, was not ready to fight Germany at this time. The U.S. is B. We're isolationists if you're from the States. We did not want to be involved at all. Poland, they supported Germany, actually, and said, yeah, during the Czech crisis, they should say that should go and be part of Germany. In Switzerland, they are B, neutral, but they're preparing for war. They kind of see the writing on the wall. All right, and so here we kind of have this picture. Dr. Seuss actually was a very big political cartoonist, and so you might know him from other works, but you have this example here. In the middle, we see the appeaser handing out the lollipops. We kind of have these little Dr. Seuss monsters here with the Nazi symbol. That should be something that you notice while you're looking at this. And it says at the top, remember, 1 more lollipop, and then you all go home. And so in the middle, we see the appeaser, handing out the lollipops. So in the Munich conference in 1938, we have people get together. You'll notice Hitler in that picture very clearly, as well as leaders of Great Britain and France and Germany and Italy all get together. And what the big idea is, well, we should appease, give in to the toddler in the toy aisle, and give Hitler the Sudetenland. But now we have a new problem. So they made that agreement at the Munich conference, but we now have a violation of this new pact. Now Hitler wants all of Czechoslovakia. So what does your country do now? Here are your options to pick from. A, support Germany's annexation of Czechoslovakia, so they can have all of it. B, declare war on Germany for breaking the Munich Pact. C, continue to rely on appeasement, hoping that Germany is finished with demands. D, attempt to negotiate with Germany to pull out of Czechoslovakia. Neutral, or neutral but prepare for war. What does your country do? Great Britain, France, Soviet Union, Poland, and Switzerland. Pause the video, make your answers, and here are the responses. See if you're right. Great Britain, you're going to go with C. You did not respond to the annexation of Czechoslovakia. You're just going to let him take it. Same with France. Appeasing Hitler. That's the policy we're going with. Soviet Union, you went with A. Wanted to maintain good relations with Germany because Stalin knew that war was inevitable, who is now the leader of the Soviet Union. U.S., E, we are neutral, just hanging out, not involved. Poland, C, you're too small to stand up, so we're going with appeasement. And Switzerland, you're going to go with, going to maintain your neutrality but build up your military. All right, so here's where we're at now. All of Czechoslovakia is now taken by Germany as they expand their land. Britain and France still hold off declarations of war. Britain starts to make some preparations, but again, appeasement is the name of the game. Then we have another event that you would probably want to record down. Germany and the Soviet Union enter into an agreement. They agree to each other that they are not going to be aggressive against each other. So in 1939, they basically create this kind of like it's just a non-aggression pact. It's not necessarily an alliance, but they're saying we're not going to fight each other. We're not aggressive towards each other. And basically, we're able to move the Soviet Union off the table and not going to be involved in what's going on here. We see another political cartoon here, this little marriage between Stalin and Hitler. So let's see what happens next. If you're going to predict the future, another political cartoon. If you kind of are analyzing that, we see Forgive Me, Conrad, but it seemed like such a good opportunity. In the hand, we see the Russo-German Pact. A little backstabbing if you're guessing what's coming once again. So event number 3. Pick what your country does in this situation. Britain and France promise to support Poland if Germany is invaded. And guess what? Germany invades Poland on September 1st, 1939. What does your country do? So there we go, just so you have a little bit of geography here. Germany, there's Poland right next door on the east side. So there is the invasion. So what do you do in this case? Are you A, neutral, B, neutral, but prepare for a defensive war in case of invasion? C, provide financial aid to the Allies? D, join Germany in its invasion? E, declare war on Germany, but hope Germany would retreat from Poland and would not actually fight? Or F, declare war on Germany and send troops? Okay, pause the video, make a decision based on your country, and then we will go through the results. The right answers are this. Great Britain is E. They declared war on Germany, but did not instigate any fighting with the Germans yet. France also is E. Instead of sending aid to Poland, they built up their military kind of at their border since they also bordered Germany. Soviet Union, they had the non-aggression pact, so they supported the invasion. The U.S., we are just neutral, but we would maybe support some allies. Poland, they're going to fight for 3 weeks, which is F. But then they will surrender to Germany as Germany takes over Poland after taking over Czechoslovakia, after taking over the Sudetenland. And Switzerland is B. They're going to remain neutral. All right, so here is the declaration, the beginning officially of World War II, September 3rd, 1939. Meanwhile, we have another political cartoon here. We have Ho-Hum. When he's finished pecking down that last tree, he'll quite likely be tired. If you kind of look at this, we see some countries' names on the different trees, right? Poland, France, England, and then we have this little bird with, man, it looks like some stars and stripes on his head. I wonder who he's talking about. So then guess what happens next? Event number 4, the invasion of France. So Germany then invades France on May 10th, 1940. Hitler's blitzkrieg overwhelmed French troops. It means they're going to have kind of this lightning fast invasion and is able to capture Paris. France moves its government to the south of France to avoid Germany. So we kind of have this other government going on. Meanwhile, we have another political cartoon here. Said a bird in the midst of a blitz. Up to now, they've scored very few hits. So I'll sit on my canny, old star-spangled fanny. And on it he sits and he sits. Just a little message to the U.S. there. So what does your country do here? A, surrender. B, surrender on the condition that your government retains limited independence and controls some of your territory. C, neutral. Neutral for D, but prepare defenses. E, fight Germany. Or F, support Germany. What does your country do? Great Britain, France, Soviet Union, Poland, and Switzerland. Write down your answer. Pause the video if you need some more time. But here are your answers. Okay, all at once. Great Britain, E. Although they evacuated Paris once captured by Germany, they continued to fight the Germans. France, you kind of got two answers. You had more of some chances to get this one right there, B or E. They did sign an armistice, giving Germany direct control over 60% of France. But Charles de Gaulle, a French general, refused to accept surrender and continued to fight Germany elsewhere. The Soviet Union, you support the invasion, but you do not participate. The U.S., still neutral. Poland, partitioned by Germany and Soviet Union, and so they are continuing on that route. Some of them are fighting elsewhere. And Switzerland, neutral, but still preparing to defend itself. Event number 5. June 20th or 22nd, 1940, France surrenders to Germany, leaving Britain as the only hostile Western country that is opposing Germany in what they're doing. Hitler plans Operation Sea Lion to invade the island of Britain. And so on the August 2nd, we see that there are bombing raids that are intensifying, and we have the Battle of Britain beginning. And in August 8th, the Luftwaffe, which is the German Air Force, basically, attacks Britain with 1,500 planes a day. It's incredible. So what happens? A, are you going to surrender? B, fight against Germany's demands on Britain? C, support Germany's attack on Britain? D, proclaim neutrality? E, neutral, but send basically Britain military supplies and money? F, neutral, but prepare for defenses? What did you do for yours for the Battle of Britain? Pause video if you need to, but here are your responses. Great Britain, you fight endlessly, and you actually never allowed the Germans to invade the island. France, so some of your government supports the Nazis, and some of it is supporting Britain, for B. Soviet Union, you're supported, but you played no role in the bombardment of Britain. U.S., you proclaimed neutrality, but sent 50 American destroyers to the British Navy, loaned Britain some money for defense. So not neutral anymore, U.S., if that's what you were going with. Poland, actually, you fought too. There are 4 squadrons of Polish pilots that are fighting in the Battle of Britain. Switzerland, you guys are neutral, but still preparing for defenses. You probably have the best record if you were Switzerland in this game. All right, we're almost there. 2 major other events we want to go through. Event number 6, the invasion of the Soviet Union. So in 1941, Hitler decides to begin the invasion of the Soviet Union. He believed that once they attacked the Soviet Union, it could be defeated in a few weeks. We have a nice little meme here. Studies Napoleon and still invades Russia. So what is your country going to do? Support Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union? Fight against the German invasion? Proclaim neutrality? Support the Soviets by sending military supplies and materials, but not troops? Surrender? Oppose Germany's invasion by fighting Germans elsewhere? What did you do? Pause video if you need to think and look back at these options real quick. Here are your answers. Great Britain. You are going to D, as we're looking at this, okay? Support the Soviets by sending military supplies elsewhere. We have that going on. France, we have 2 options once again. One is a German ally, and one is continuing to fight, but wasn't able to help the Soviet Union. Soviet Union, you are B, obviously fighting against invasion. U.S. is D. We are sending also some assistance through the back door. Poland, prisoners captured during the Soviet Union invasion, forming an army and assisting. And Switzerland, you're glad the invasion is deflected and you're not going your way. So, now the last major event that we're going to talk about in this video. We are now in 1944, where we've kind of gone through basically 10 years of history here. But Operation Overlord is the last event we're going to look at. And so Germany is now in control of all of France. And on June 6, 1944, the Allies invade the coast of Normandy in France. And so also known as D-Day. So what happens and what does your country do in its involvement with D-Day? Participate fully in the invasion. B, support the Allies by sending troops and supplies. C, did not participate but fought Germans elsewhere. D, provided financial support of the Allies. E, proclaimed neutrality. F, proclaimed neutrality but secretly assisted the Allies. What did your country do? Give a good pause right here, and we're almost done. So here's the right answers. Great Britain. A, you're going to organize and house Allied army while preparing for the invasion of France. France. A, you're also going to prepare for the invasion of France. Soviet Union, you're going to continue your war against Germany on the eastern front of Europe. You're not going to be involved in D-Day, but you are fighting them valiantly on the other side. U.S., you are also now involved in the invasion, and so the United States was brought into the war, as you may remember, with Pearl Harbor and the Japanese, which is part of the other alliance we see during this war. But as we get to 1944, we're going to see the major land invasion that we are involved with D-Day. Poland, they are going to be active in the invasion of Italy, but not Operation Overlord. And Switzerland, you're still neutral, but secretly are helping the Allies, okay? So, as you went through this video, I hope the game was a little fun as you're taking some notes and guessing what different countries did. The bottom line is you want to review these causes. What were the causes of World War II? And so we talked from the beginning at the top of the video. The terms of the Treaty of Versailles were pretty intense, which will lead us to this as Hitler will break those. The global economic crisis, which is going to cause nations to try to figure out how to fix their economy and maybe are being ultra involved, which is going to also see this rise of fascism, totalitarian regimes that are trying to fix their economies that are broken. We're going to see more imperialism that's going to be involved, but I think the two other main causes you want to add to that list is the failure of appeasement and really the lack of anything by the League of Nations. They gave in to the toddler that was kind of whining in the toy aisle. And then militarism, just this kind of invasion by Hitler and what he was doing and taking over land. And we're going to see later on in this unit how kind of those two things, militarism and how basically Hitler was taking over lands, is going to be actually one of those effects will be that imperialism is going to kind of have its last stand. And countries are going to say, we don't want to be like that. Well, I hope this video was helpful. Write down these causes and hope you did great in the game.